Good afternoon. My name's Stephen Elliott, and I'm working on my multimodal presentation for our WIT paper, which I am an education major. So I'm working on effective classroom management and why we need that in today's schools. There are many reasons why we need behavior support programs such as Devereaux, PBIS, which is positive behavior interactions or interventions and supports. TCI is another one, therapeutic crisis intervention. One of the trends in the last probably 5 to 10 years is the introduction of electronics for learning, Google Chromebooks, iPads. Um, Leads into social media and how easy it is to access Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. Um, a third one is cell phone technology. iPhones and Androids don't cost much to get a basic phone that records nowadays. And I see many kids in my travels. I've worked in public education in the Bradley School District for the last 7 years, from first grade to high school. And I see these kids walking down the halls with their cell phones out. If there's a fight, they'll record it and post it to YouTube before a teacher or staff member even know about it. um, Social media where kids can say anything and have no repercussions for what they've done. Another thing is the increase of classrooms that I mentioned in the previous slides. Teachers are required to go from one teacher and 20 kids to one teacher and 30 kids with an increased mandate in what these kids need to know. As my slide says, the intended style and audience. When we did our rhetorical analysis paper, I felt like I personally got more out of the professional magazines, and maybe that's because it feels like they were tailored more to education scenarios, and I was less interested in the empirical data in the scholarly journals. Um, I feel my audience would be any level of teacher, from the new college graduate, especially targeting them, but also the veteran teacher that feels like their classrooms are out of control and wondering why. There is an ongoing tug of war in the schools with general ed teachers wondering why we need these additional support systems and why they can't teach the way they used to teach, and feel like if a kid disrespects a teacher, they should have to leave class. The problem with this is that we used to be able to send kids home. However, the laws have changed and kids have to be kept in school unless they've done something really bad. So we bring the social programs to the schools to make sure we can keep these kids engaged. A lot of the problems teachers are seeing are, especially the veterans, that they used to teach one style. If someone asked a question or tried to answer a question rather, and the teacher said, "No, Johnny, you're wrong," Johnny would get upset. Now he'll act out and not be able to go home. Teachers have to implement PBIS techniques like write night tickets. We do at Bradley. Um, and other positive reinforcements. For example, with Johnny, the teacher could say, "You're almost right, Johnny. Could we have a friend help you out?" Little word phrasings like that can make a big difference. I've also worked with Brianne Borenson, our social worker at Bradley Schools, who note that there's an increase in ADHD diagnosis, the autism spectrum diagnosis, and more kids that are actually on medicines. And parents are not as involved as they used to be, or actually have a negative view of the schools. In summary, I feel like my paper's thesis is going to be why classroom management techniques are valued and needed more than ever in today's schools. My reasons why I'm going to suggest that we cannot suspend kids anymore, that we need to work on reintegrating them into the classroom. So we need these behavior supports in place. It helps with bullying if we address issues in the classroom, and keeps a positive vibe, makes kids want to go to school. I'm also going to suggest that new teachers don't get enough of this type of training. They get plenty of education and classroom observation, but the social, emotional, and behavior training that's needed, we don't address like we properly should. And there are surveys that suggest a lot of teachers, especially within the first 5 years, have burnout or don't feel supported and will leave the profession. Whereas many veteran teachers feel like now we are coddling our students because we cannot suspend them or send them home, which is a disrespect to their classroom. So there needs to be an overall look. And my audience, again, would be teachers. And I'm going to try to make it in the professional magazine format. And it sounds like more of an argument type basis for this technique. So if anybody has questions or comments or concerns or ways I can do my paper better, I will absolutely be glad to listen. Thank you. I'm sorry it's so long. Have a great day.